Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Auto Trail Tracker FB, which is a 2012 model. So as we start, we'll walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first. You've got the round-headed key here, which opens all your external lockers. So you just push them in. In here, you've got storage underneath your front bench seat, and underneath this compartment here, you do have your leisure battery with main 20 amp battery fuse there as well. Located next to it, you have your mains connectivity point. So you get your hooker blade, lift the collar, slide it on there, press the blue toggle down on the left hand side when unhooking, and always hook the vehicle up first, then your power source, and do it in reverse when unhooking the vehicle. Below the skirt, you've got your grey water drain. So this is anything you've put down a plug hole, goes into a separate holding tank. You'd normally drive over a service bay on the way out of your site, which is labelled up grey water drain, and open and drain off your wastewater. And obviously you'd want to leave this open in the winter to stop it freezing in the tank below the vehicle. We've got some more storage behind the kitchen. Got your external shower point. So you'll get your, it's got a bullfinch connection. You push it in there, turn it from off to hot, and set the temperature. Make sure the pump's on, and the hot water will only work should the boiler have been on previously. Down here you have your fresh water drain. So if you've taken on contaminated water, or if you're doing the drain down for the winterizing the vehicle, you just open and let the water out of the vehicle. Obviously it's very important that you allow the water out, because if not, it's not covered under warranty, and it's very expensive to replace the pipes and tanks on these vehicles. Above you've got your cassette. So if you push the catches in again, ensure that the blade is closed on the bottom bowl of the toilet, and you'll be able to lift and slide. You've got some wheels there so you can drag it round to your site, and then they're empty. You'd unscrew the cap, tip it to 90 degrees, press the orange button at the back, tip out. Once you've tipped it out, if you put some water in via the spout and give it a rinse, and tip out again. And if you're using the liquid form of chemical, a cap full straight into here of the green or the blue, and it's good to go back into the vehicle. If you're using the tablet form, you put a pint of water into here and a tablet down into the cassette. And then once it clicks back in like so, it's good to use. The back of the vehicle, you've got your high level reverse camera and brake light, and then you've got your scooter rack. So take the clips off. Here you've got your bike rack. So depending on how long your bikes are with your wheels, what you can do is you can turn these little toggles here and pull the wheel support chock along the rail and lock it back in. Then you would strap your wheels through your spokes onto here, and then these are just for your crossbars. So your furthest bike away, which is your second bike, would clip onto there, and your first bike would clip onto here. Then what I would advise is putting some sort of strap, so a bike chain around the bikes to tie them down onto the bike frame, so that the bikes don't get stolen should you have to pull over at the service stations and leave the van unattended. Come around the passenger side, so again you've got another locker here. You've got your carpets, your carpet mat, your water pumps in the far corner underneath the bed. You've got your on and winding handle. Your boiler lives behind here, and you'll notice you've got a mains 3-pin plug for powering in your awning. So like I was saying, your boiler lives behind here. It holds 10 litres of hot water at any one time. You don't want that water to stay in the boiler over the winter months when the vehicle's not being used. Because what it'll do is it'll freeze, crack the boiler, flood the vehicle. All the pipes and tanks on the vehicle are plastic to give you a better payload, so they're not as good as a household system, and you don't want them to crack and split. So you've got to let the water out of the vehicle, and to let it out of the boiler, this little yellow drain toggle, you'd lift it up and you'll see just under there that there is water flowing out. You would leave it stood up during the time you've got the vehicle in standing over the winter. Open the fresh and waste from outside, open all the mixer taps from inside, and remove the shower head from the shower hose to allow the shower hose to lie flat in the shower tray, so any water would drain out the plug hole in the shower. When you are ready to reuse it, obviously put it down in this position now. Close all the taps, close the fresh and waste from outside, fill with fresh water, which would be here. So you'd put your hose pipe in there and fill it until either it was overflowing or until you're happy there's enough water on board, which you can't see from the main control panel on board. Then what you'll do is you turn the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first, you'll get automatic cold water. Go to the hot side, it'll cough splutter, and what it's doing is it's filling the boiler up until you get 10 litres in the boiler. A pressurised flow on one tap, do them all, and then the system is primed for the season. Next to your fresh water filler, you've got your external gas barbecue point. So again, bullfinch connection, so red handle, you turn it to on or close. You'd need a Jubilee clip and some rubber gas piping to connect to your Kadak or an external awning heater, and that'll run off the main bottles on board. You've got your flue here for your Truma boiler, so just do make sure that you don't cover that with an awning or anything, allow air circulation around it. You've got your awning light, your awning and your two fridge vents, and then at the front you've got your LPG. So it just takes propane bottles, so colour propane bottles. You can get a 6 and a little bit bigger, so an 11 probably in there. To connect the pigtail to the bottle, it's a left hand thread, so opposite threads with it being gas. Turn on and off at the top of the bottle, and then what you'll need to do is make sure that the bottle is strapped in when it's on the vehicle and turned off when you start travelling. Should you turn the gas on and struggle to get gas through the vehicle, there is a little green button here which is the crash valve on the regulator. If you just push that in for about 3 seconds, it allows the gas into the vehicle. And then at the passenger door you've got your diesel filler, which opens with the main ignition key to fill with fuel. On the passenger door you do have your tyre pressure, so 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi, and 5.5 bar on the back, which is 79.5 psi. Your toolkit lives underneath the passenger seat, which has got a jack and a brace and a tone iron. Your engine batteries underneath this compartment in the floor, so you'd have to get it out through the cab should you need to ever change it in the future. And then your bonnet releases on the side of the passenger dashboard. Now looking underneath the engine here, so you've got all your liquids this side. So you've got your screen wash, your power steering fluid, your brake fluid and your radiator coolant. You've got your engine oil and dipstick, paint code, and then should you ever need to jump start, you've got your earth here, and just underneath this cover you've got your positive. Here you've got your weight plate, so you go off that, so it's 3650, so you need C1 to drive this vehicle. And then if you were to tow anything with the tow bar, the motorhome and whatever you're towing can't exceed 4,770 kilos. So once inside the vehicle, this is your main 12 volt control panel. So if you're hooked up, you'll have mains 240 volt. If not, it will just be working off the leisure battery. So you've got your master switch here, which is on and off. And then this button here is your power transfer button. So if your leisure battery was to go dead, you can switch over to your engine battery. But that's only for emergencies, and I wouldn't exactly agree on using that, because if you were to flatten the engine battery, then obviously you can't start the engine and you won't be able to go anywhere. At the bottom left hand corner you've got your pump, so it's showing that you've got 25% fresh water in there, so you've got to have the pump on to use the external shower, the internal shower, the taps, the toilet and the kitchen tap. And then you've got your awning light on the outside of the vehicle. If you scroll through, you've got your EC300, which is your control panel name. You've got your leisure battery, which is showing 14.2 volts, in brackets good. Vehicle battery, which is showing 13.9 volts, good. You've got 25% fresh water. You've got 0 waste. Your battery current is 0.4 amps coming off the battery. The current solar is 1.9 amps going into the battery. But do take in mind, when hooked up, the solar does go to sleep because the hookup's given a bigger charge. You've got your external temperature, your tank heaters. If you want your tank heaters to be turned on, you just press the button in the middle of the 2 arrows, which turns it on and off. And what that does is it puts current through the water to stop the water from freezing on a cold, potentially going to freeze overnight. You've got a clock, so you can set your clock. You can set an alarm so the control panel wakes you up if you've got a ferry or anything to catch. And then you've got an event timer. And then that goes back to the start. And then opposite, you have your heating and hot water. So on this side, you have off in the middle on the O, heating your water at 60 degrees at the top, and then 1 to 5 being your thermostat. 40 degrees of heating your water, off, heating on its own, and that's when the thermostat comes into play. 5 is equivalent to 30 degrees. And then heating your vehicle and your water at 60 degrees. And then on this side you have which source you want to use. So you've got in the middle gas on its own, go up 1, you've got 1 kilowatt of electric. Go up again, you've got 2 kilowatts of electric, which you can use on most sites during the UK. 1 kilowatt you may have to use abroad or on smaller CL sites, just depending on what current they give you on your hookup lead. And then going down from the gas flame, you've got your gas flame and 1 wiggly line, which is gas and 1 kilowatt, which is mixture 1. And you've got gas and 2 kilowatts, which is gas mixture 2. So gas and electric together, obviously both sources combined, will give you a lot sooner to heat the vehicle and the water, reducing the heating time, and meaning that you can get the vehicle and water to temperature a lot quicker. You normally use that in the winter more, and then obviously you can turn it, give it 20 minutes, half an hour on that, and then if you are on a site, turn it to electric to continue heating the water and the vehicle. So now in the kitchen area, so on the hob you've got 3 lit gas rings, 1 electric hot plate at the back, which is indicated by the light, the luminous light, which will only work when hooked up on mains to 40 volt. And then obviously if you have had it on before you put the glass lid, allow it to cool, otherwise you can't shatter the cooker hood. And below you've got a grill, and oven. Underneath the oven you've got your gas isolation taps, which are these red taps on the left hand side, but these are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced. And you've got your main master plug for your electric hot plate and a little bit of storage. Your microwave operates by pressing Eco, which is this button here, which will wake it up, and it is an 800 watt mains electric microwave, which only works when hooked up. And the plug is in here. You've got your plates and your cup rack. You've got your draining board lives under here, which goes on the sink any way you'd like. so it can either cover the sink or cover the drainer. And when the pump's on, this is just showing that your hot water, your water is working there. This is your external shower point, so the bullfinch connection I was on about fits into the vehicle this end, and then you've got a trigger gun so you can hose the kids or the dogs off should you've been on the beach. Got storage underneath the sink, so a large cutlery tray and some more storage, and then some storage in the small compartment to the left hand side. So to operate your Dometic fridge and freezer, you turn on and off here by just pressing and holding like so, and then A stands for automatic energy selection. So the brain of the fridge picks which best source you have available at any one time. So it's on A, and you'll notice that the hookup lead plug has illuminated, which means it's on mains 240 volt. If I was to take that out now, and because we've got the gas on and open, it would switch over to gas, which would self-ignite. And then if I was to start the engine, it would turn over the battery, which isn't your leisure battery, it's a feed from your engine battery alternator to keep the fridge at the same temperature it was before departing. So the idea here is, if you're lucky enough to keep it at home or you're travelling from site to site, your fridge will be chilled a couple of days beforehand, your shop will be all nice and cool, and then when you travel it'll just turn it into a massive cool box and just keep everything fresh until you then hook back up or switch back over to gas. Please note, with the gas, it doesn't light straight away on automatic on gas. It does wait 20 minutes, so it will beep to say it's failed. And that's just a safety feature, because if you were to pull into a petrol forecourt, leave your gas bottle open, obviously it's not finding mains power, it's not finding 12 volt because you've just turned the engine off, but it is finding gas. Last thing you want to do is for it to be sparking in the petrol forecourt. So you'd have to just manually put it onto gas and manually change it over. Obviously if I was to put on the battery now, it'll fail because the engine's not running, or you can manually put it onto the 3 sources available. You've got your temperature here. So some people say 5's too cold, so you may just have to have done 3 or 4 to stop it from freezing. And you've got your reset button. And then once you are finished with the fridge freezer for the season and you're parking it up from November onwards and not going to use it until February, March, if you take everything out, give it a wipe out with some anti-bac, and then the last thing you want to do is close the door, as it forms an airtight seal, and all the air, the clean air, will become dirty and mouldy. So if you just press these toggles in, slide the lugs forward, stops the door from locking on itself and allows air circulation in and out, and that beeping's just to tell you that the door are slightly open. Next to it you've got your table, which is a fold up table, which is just like putting an ironing board up, so you can put it at the front or you can put it outside if it's a nice day. And you've got concertina doors here with storage above. Now in the washroom, so to operate the toilet, if you press the blue button to flush, you'll notice that the fan is flashing. That means it's on. If you just press it to a solid light, it turns it off. It's just a 12 volt assisted fan. Press to flush, like so. Flush the toilet first, then what you want to do is open the blade. The blade is this grey lever. Slide to the right and drops it all into the cassette. Use it with it open, then flush after use and slide to the left, which shuts the blade and means you can get the cassette out from the outside of the vehicle should you need to change it and top it up with chemical. If it was to be open, you wouldn't be able to pull the cassette out, and you get a few green lights on here underneath the cassette diagram when it is full. Toiletry cabinet, bathroom lights here, more toiletry cabinet. Your skylight, you just push the button in, pull the bar along, or put into the grooves should you want a nice bit of ventilation. Blackout blind and fly screen for when you've got it open. Yeah, your shower doors are just magnetic, so you just push them in, and you've got a hanging rail for wet towels, but also works great if you've been caught out in the rain. Hang your coats on here, shut the door, put the heating on. Bathroom's your smallest place in your vehicle, will get lovely and warm. And like I was saying, when winterising, if you just remove your shower head, as you've got quite a loop in there, and leave all the mixer taps open and allow the hose to lie in the shower tray. At the back of the vehicle, you've got your French bed with storage underneath, which I've showed you from outside. So your boiler's in this corner, then you've got storage at the back, which is accessible from the locker. You've got storage in your overhead locker compartment, so there's nothing much in here. All your little reader lights are individually switched. So you've got two. You've got a telly bracket and a telly point. So an aerial point, 12 volt and mains power. Same skylight as the bathroom, so push, slide along, open, or into the groove should you want a nice bit of ventilation. And then always make sure that the bar is above the button and it shuts securely before travelling. Blackout blind and fly screen. And then on your windows, blackout blind and fly screen. And open, you just open the catches, and then to keep it out you would just turn these black wheels on the retainer to keep the window ajar. Above the lounge seat behind the driver's seat, you've got your TV aerial. So to operate a TV aerial, obviously on the green light here it indicates that you've got a good signal. If that should be orange or red, it means that your signal's poor. So what you will need to do is loosen the nut off on the top here, like so. Push the stem up and use the toggle on the bottom to direct the aerial. Pulling down and tightening when you start to travel. You've also got a min and a max on the back of the booster, so you can boost it or weaken it should it be too strong. And because this is fitted with a satellite system, which I'll get onto in a moment, you've got a cable switchover, so you've got satellite or you've got TV aerial. So depending on which one you want to use, you can press either satellite or TV aerial. In the front cupboard, this is all your power supply units. So you've got your system shutdown button, which isolates the battery, the head unit, the whole of the vehicle apart from the engine in the winter. This just imitates your control panel. You've got all your 12 volt fuses, which are listed here, so we'll just carry some spares. You've got your charger, your space heater and your water heater, obviously on electric, and then obviously your space heater and your water heater is all operated from above the habitation door. You've got your RCD and your MCBs. You've got your system, entertainment system, so this switch here turns the TV monitor screen on and off, which I'll get onto in a moment and show you how to use this. But your satellite system, you've obviously got close and open, so you'd open it up and then all you need to do is press search on here, and it's on Astro 18, and if you wanted to change it you just press sat and change the satellite depending on which country you're in and how far into Spain or France you are. But you normally use Astro 8. And then obviously make sure you close the lid of the satellite system, the dish, before you start travelling. And then to make your lounge into a double bed, you'd simply pull your front of the seats out, put your backrest in the middle, and then also turn your base cushions on either side upside down as you get a flatter surface to sleep on. With the boom arm table, you've got two options, so you can either loosen it and spin the table round and leave it in this position, or you can unscrew the nut here and lift the stem out and place it underneath the back bed if you didn't want it like this when using the bed. So to operate the TV, so this is just a monitor. It's all controlled through here first. So what you need to do is you need to go to the home screen, press on the little TV, which is DVB_TV. It'll bring it onto the TV screen, and then when you move sites you'll have to retune your TV. So you'd simply click on it until you get the buttons, press menu, installation. The menu button will then turn to OK. Use the arrows and do an automatic search, press OK. Do you want to erase the previous channel list? Yes, you do, because you want new channels to be found in your local area, and it'll find as many channels as it can on the head unit. You'd control the sound through here, obviously through the cab speakers, and it'll all come onto the monitor screen. And there you have it, the telly's tuned in, and it'll find as many channels as it can in the area that you're in. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver you have your handbrake, which is a full. You have your electric mirrors at the front and electric windows at the back, and you've got 2 positionings on the mirrors on each side for adjustment, top and blind spot. And if you pinch and slide along, you've got your MS car blinds on passenger and driver's door. And the same on the windscreen. So we are just a magnetic strip that keeps these together on. So if it's going to be windy, I'd advise putting something around here like a hair bubble or a elastic band, just to keep it from pinging open with the wind, if the wind was to pick up during the night. Got your headlight adjustment. Your trip switch is on the end of your wiper stalk, which has your range, your average and instant consumption, your travelling time, your distance travelled and so on. Lights and indicators. Then at the bottom you just turn the cruise control on, get the desired speed and push up. And then should you have to cancel it, you can just cancel it on here or cancel it with the foot brake and then just push up to resume it. 6-speed manual gearbox with lifting the collar into reverse brings on the rear view camera. Locks the doors on an evening, including the habitation door. Hazards, rear fog lights and heated mirrors. 2 12-volt points. Then you've got your temperature on the outside ring. Fan speed must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon button, which is this one here. Then your distribution, so where you want the air to go to, face, feet or screen, and whether you're bringing fresh air in the vehicle or recirculating air. So on the head unit, if you go to home, you get your home screen, and obviously I've been through the TV, but what you have got is you've got navigation, and it'll load up. And you just go find address, and you can put in